everyone to the night crew. We're back again with some exciting news and current events for you. And we have our wonderful panel in here. We've got Queen Angela Thomas Smith and Apostle Tamara Lucas. Welcome, ladies. Always good to see you. So, are you ready to get into some news and see what's going on? And see what we got.
Miles well.
First of all, the booming and controversial Colony Ridge housing development. I don't know if you heard about this or not. It seems like the news hasn't really been covering this, but I found it on the internet. Governor Greg Abbott's recent promises to commit significant political and law enforcement capital to address. Hold on just a second. I didn't get that on the screen, did I? Okay, let's do it. Okay, there we go. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott's recent promises to commit significant political and law enforcement capital to address the booming and controversial Colony Ridge housing development in Liberty County has provoked a counter campaign from its developer to dispute various claims about the community that drove the governor's decisions. The governor recently promised a special legislative session and ordered a Texas Department of Public Safety trooper surge into Liberty County in response to published reports that illegal immigrants have flooded into Colony Ridge and surrounding counties, and that dangerous Mexican cartels have taken root there because federal law enforcement has neglected the rapidly booming town. An estimated 50,000 to 75,000 people live in Colony Ridge after responding to internet ads promising that they can own land in the United States and can buy through unconventional high-interest owner-to-buyer loans ranging as high as 15%. Now, this year is relevant because it's just part of the border crisis problem. This Liberty County, this housing development called Colony Ridge, it's a subdivision, but it's about the size of some cities. You know, it says they have between 50 and 75,000 people just in this subdivision, and Mexican cartels seem to be in that area, and a lot of bad things have been happening there. And so that's been a big concern, and that's just another part of the, like I say, the border issue. And the governor's upset about it, and he's blaming the developers, and the developers are blaming the Mexican cartels. So it's really interesting. So what do y'all think about that?
Well, of course, everybody's going to blame everybody until they can't blame nobody. And until they think everybody is forgotten about it. But nobody's trying to do nothing about it because, number one, if the cartel is set up, you better believe that these underhanded, these crooked, corrupt people that are in office, they're benefiting, because I've heard instances where there's been individuals that have been arrested and they've had hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, and money come up missing, but it's never turned into the police department. All the drugs come up missing, but it's never turned into the police department. You know, and we talking about a state that I am just right now. This is something that I am really working hard on, because there's a lot of stuff that go on in the state of Texas that I could not believe was taking place in this day and time that we live in. So I can only imagine what is taking place in the cover-ups and all of that. To build a subdivision the size of a town, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's somebody with some connections, somebody that's getting some kickbacks, somebody getting something to allow this to have happened. and
Yeah.
they thought that they was going to be able to control it, but it got out of control.
Yeah.
And if if everybody if everybody clean their hands up, then you will see change. Trust and believe, you'll begin to see change. But until people start washing their hands and getting the blood off their hands, then Colony Ridge is gonna stay like that. I hear a lot about Colony Ridge and a lot that go on in that area, but it's a lot going on in Texas that a lot of
Yeah.
people just don't know about because, again, Texas ain't governed by a lot of the rules that a lot of the other states are governed by. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that need to be changed. Like they got all these laws and all these regulations in place, but they not abiding by them. And who's regulating them and making them abide by them?
Yeah. And
But
they're
yeah, it's a
deliberately,
lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
yeah. And they're deliberately targeting the migrants because, you know, they're making the loans so easy to get. And I read somewhere else where if they miss 2 or 3 payments, then they repossess the property. So they're making a killing off of it on both ends. So, well, Bob, well,
Everybody don't figure out how they can. Everybody don't figure out how they can sin and how they can utilize. Everybody say they want to stop these immigrants from coming in. I hear Monica Dela Cruz say something the other day about the immigrants, but she's an immigrant. You know, we forget where we come from, but when we get in these offices, we start moving to the screens. Well, if they pull me to the right, I got to go to the right. They pull me to the left, I got to go to the left. But we don't stand on what's right, and we don't stand for the people, which we say the people. We are doing this for the people. The people's got us here, and we're doing this for the people. And everybody claim it's not about no party, it's not about this, but it's about the people and about making this country great. I ain't seen great yet, because if this has been great, really, what is great? Please define that word, because I ain't seen great yet. I'm 48 years old and I ain't seen great yet. Can't tell me this is great. The hell that I've lived in is not great. This is not great. But show me great. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. Let somebody else talk.
Bob,
Hey, Steve. Hi, everyone.
what do you think about this?
What is the topic? Oh, the Texas governor.
Yeah, we're talking about Colony Ridge. I don't know if
Uh,
you've heard of it or not. It's a huge subdivision in Liberty County, Texas. And that's about the size of some cities that got between 50 and 75,000 people in this subdivision who are mostly immigrants that
yeah.
are legal. And the Mexican cartel has moved in there also.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know, man. We're being invaded. We need to get some control of this. This. I mean, I'm all for legal immigration, but I don't like the idea of just that somebody coming across the border. You don't know who they are, where they're from, or what their intentions are.
Yeah.
I don't. This is not good.
Yeah. Kamala?
Being a person who studied history and all that stuff, it's weird that we get upset when he said the immigrants, but this place has always been a place where immigrants come to have freedom. When the people left King George, they was an immigrant, and they came here because they wanted their freedom. So, and they bogart the land and took the land over. Somebody was already occupied here. And if those people who were already here had the same attitude, this would not be United States right now, because it would have been their country. So we bogart their country, took it over, and we get amnesia. And then another thing too, we love the cartels. Rather, we'll say one thing, but in reality, we do love them because when we watch movies, we brag and talk about them all the time. You're giving them kudos. You watch all these movies, what they say, the cartels, the cartel. You mention them so much, they probably sit back clapping their hands like, yeah, go ahead, mention me again. So even though we say this is that is going on and all this is going on, but when we watch our movies, we brag and talk about them all the time. So it's like, which side are you going to be on? And yes, there's no way you can stop this because if you look at these different movies and Dateline and 2020 and all this stuff, they have underground tunnels. So you can build a wall all you want. If somebody wants to get in this country, they can. It's all a whole bunch of underground tunnels that they've been using for years. So it's like we saying one thing, but we already know what's really, really going on. So I think when it comes to money, if you don't pay me, then I'm going to expose you and say, you know what, you're a criminal, you this. But I think it started off, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. And then it got to the point where people didn't want to scratch each other's back, so now they upset. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's definitely a mess. And yeah, like you say, if you got a wall, you can go over it or you can go under it, So the Mexicans have been digging tunnels and building ladders for a long time, haven't they? All righty, let's see what's next here. And this one is related actually. Biden administration to expand U.S.-Mexico border wall in Texas. Wow, imagine that. The U.S. government is moving ahead with plans to extend a border wall in South Texas. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security publicized a decision October the 5th to waive 26 federal laws, most of them involving environmental reviews, to allow the building of 20 more miles of the wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. However, President Joe Biden has said he does not believe border walls work to prevent migrants from entering the United States illegally, and he has been consistently opposed to their construction, ordering a construction pause on his first day in his post on 2021. Speaking with reporters on October the 5th, Biden said he had no choice but to allow the building to move forward. The money was appropriated for the border wall. He said, I can't stop that. The funds were appropriated in 2019 under the Trump administration. Biden was unsuccessful in getting lawmakers to redirect them, and the funding requires the money to be used for the wall, with the construction to be completed in 1 year. Well, imagine that. Now, all of a sudden, after all this time, Biden says we're going to continue building the wall. The money has been there all the time, and we can't do nothing about it. I don't recall him saying anything about that, in the past. So, he just kept saying, we don't need the wall. And now he said he still doesn't believe in walls, but the Trump administration put the money in place and it can't be used for anything else. So I don't know. That's just strange to me. So what do you think? Tamala, you want to go first this time?
Oh Lord, this wall. I saw a TikTok with this man. He was a Mexican and he was building the wall. They said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm building this wall." And they said, "Why?" He said, "Because y'all dollar is dropping, and y'all gonna, instead of the Mexicans run to the United States, y'all gonna be running to us because your dollar is not gonna be worth anything." And so I'm looking at this to see if it's actually going to happen, if this wall is going to happen, because we saw the children, everybody climbing the wall. Like, what kind of wall is this that you can actually climb it and jump over it? I mean, if you can climb the wall, you're defeating the purpose of the wall. So, yeah, I just want to see how this is going on end up.
Seems like a big game, doesn't it? Like a chess game. I move and then you get to move and then I move. Very strange. Angela?
If it happened, it happened. We just wait and see. I'm just playing the waiting game.
Yeah. Bob?
Let's see if it
I don't
go
know
up.
why he would come out after, you know, being opposed to the wall for so long, and all of a sudden now he's for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Strange.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah.
Well, more will be revealed, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Okay, what's next? There you go, more in Texas. Texas gun smugglers. Now here's another funny story, like you mentioning, Angela, all the things going on in Texas. Guns purchased in Texas are ending up in the hands of Mexican drug cartels at an alarming volume. Mexican officials have long asked for America's help in curbing gun smuggling. Still, thousands of U.S. guns flow south each year, enabling cartels to terrorize communities on both sides of the border, whether it's violent crime in Mexico or fueling the fentanyl crisis stateside. According to a recent government report, an estimated 200,000 firearms are smuggled into Mexico each year. Of those recovered and traced, nearly half come from Texas. It's a huge problem for both sides, said ATF Special Agent in Charge Jeffrey Boschek. I would say it's the ATF's and the Dallas Field Division's number one priority. Wow, so there you go. The guns that the Mexican cartel is using comes from Texas. Imagine that. And we're talking about all these illegal drugs and people and everything coming across the border into Texas. And now we find out guns are being smuggled from Texas into Mexico. So it kind of sounds like a quid pro quo thing, don't it? We allow this and you allow that, and we all pretend that we don't want it to happen, but it's happening. So interesting, huh? Very
That's exactly
interesting.
what's happening. You know, that is what's happening. You know, everybody's stretching each other back until they getting tired of stretching each other back, and then that's when you hear different little things starting to pop up. But as long this has been happening, this ain't something that just started happening. Like a lot of this stuff that we seeing in the news stuff has been going on for decades. Texas has been corrupt for decades. They've been allowing stuff for decades.
Yeah.
That wall could have been up.
Yeah.
I can guarantee the governor got something to do with it too, because it could have been up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But we do one thing in the public, and then we do something totally different behind closed doors. When we shaking hands above the counter, above the table, and then passing money below the table. That's what they doing.
Yeah.
Shaking high and going low. That's what they doing now.
Politics, huh? That's
You
politics.
can Google corruption in Texas and you watch what pop up. You'd be amazed at all the stuff that pop up.
We'll have to get into that sometime, very deep, and see what we can dig up. Tamala?
Oh my goodness, this is a hot mess because we always talk about guns and people keep on saying make gun law changes and they don't want to even through these school shootings. When it comes to guns, they like guns. They don't want you to mess with their guns. So when they talk about all this is going here and there, in the 1990s, when the gang members had guns, the gangs, they said they didn't have the money or the means to get the guns. They said the government was putting guns on the street so they can kill each other. So we sitting here looking at this article and the instead of going to the gangs, then they're going to a different gang. And this new gang is called the cartel. So the government always provide guns because the goal is go ahead and kill yourself and kill each other, and maybe you will eliminate the whole culture. So basically, that's what's going on. But it's like, oh my goodness, I didn't know this was going on. Did you know this was going on? But the master plan is to take people out. So it's the same plan, just different groups of people.
Yeah. Do you remember who started that policy? Was it some president that really came up with that idea? Like you say, it's been a while, but I don't remember who came up with that. Just give them all guns, let them kill each other.
I can't remember who it is, but that's the goal.
Yeah. Bob?
I don't know much about that issue, but I know that we need strict enforcement along the border, and we need strict enforcement of existing laws because right now the country's in a free for all. It's almost like anything goes, and people want to say, Trump is a bully and this and that, but our country definitely needs straightening out, and I hope it happens fast.
Yeah, something needs to change, that's for sure. Something needs.
Yeah.
And I can't help but wonder, I mean, 200,000 firearms, that's a whole lot of guns. So what's the
Yeah.
Mexican cartel doing with all of them guns? And if this is a constant thing, they keep getting these big shipments of guns, I guess they'll be using the things in Mexico to control all the people.
And then they always got to have them big guns.
Yeah,
I don't even understand. Then they always got to have the big guns. Their
yeah,
goal is to kill and destroy.
a lot of
Because if
guns.
you're just trying to hurt somebody to protect yourself, but we always want to say we this is protect, but you don't need all that to protect.
Yeah,
Those are taken out. That's
yeah,
that's that's deliberately to kill somebody, to take somebody out of here. That's the purpose of that. And those are the guns that when we talk about do away with guns, them the guns that need to be done away with. Because why do you need 15, 30, 40 rounds? You're on a mission to kill people. And you ain't trying to
yeah,
just kill one person. So people that think that they got to have that, then something wrong with them.
yeah,
Because if you just want something to protect yourself, you don't need that. You just open fire. That that ain't necessary.
yeah, exactly.
But that's what we fight for. That's what we want. That's what we every time we see a whole bunch of guns getting raided and caught up, that's what we see.
Yeah,
All those type guns. We never see just a pop pop pop. Nah, you don't see that no more. Everything is automatic. Them AKs and them destroy intentions to destroy.
yeah.
So
And the
that's what we
Mexican
want. That's
cartel,
what
they
we
probably
fight for. That's
resell a lot
what.
of, probably resell a lot of them.
They're getting them from us.
Yeah,
Just imagine how often we smuggle guns to places and to people that shouldn't have guns. You
yeah,
talk about how all these kids got all those guns up in Philadelphia. They say people were dropping them off in the yard, bags of guns. Who dropped bags of guns off in the hood? Who do that?
Now,
And then when it's all said and done, and it come out, then the government paid people to do this. The government paid people to do this. The government paid for this. But then everybody hush hush. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Yeah.
so come here, stop talking about it. Dr. T said that in 1985, Chavez said it. Give them guns and they will kill each other. I was thinking there's some U.S. president that said that. Maybe he got it from Chavez. All righty. What's next?
Yeah.
Here we go.
So many of them don't say it so much. You forget who say what, because they all saying a whole lot that don't make sense a lot.
Okay, let's get off the border here and see what else is going on. President Sean Payne says no new plants to be struck. The UAW president, that is. Auto workers are reacting with disgust and anger following the announcement by UAW President Sean Payne in a Facebook live stream broadcast Friday that no new plants will be called out on strike. The union's stand-up strike policy has left 83% of UAW members on the job, reducing profits for the auto companies. To justify the continuation of the UAW's non-strike, Payne claimed, "We are winning. We are making progress and we are headed in the right direction." One scrap, he said, was a last-minute offer by GM to include battery plants under the National Big Three agreement as historic. The Ford Michigan assembly worker from the complex's body shop told the WSWS Sean Payne is saying play nice. He's playing softball like we're dealing with little boys. I say let's play hardball. The stand-up strike, it's not doing anything to hurt the Big Three. It's only hurting the workers. Here's what I have to say to Payne. You lied to us. We voted by 97% for an all-out strike and you misled the membership. Well, yeah, I can understand him saying that because 97% of the union voted for an all-out strike, and now they're just playing games like it is, just playing with little boys. And, you know, the automakers are still making huge profits. So they're not going to win anything by playing around like that, you know. I always heard play big or go home or something like that. So that's another one of those pretend games, you know. The union leaders get paid off to work with the company and the workers get to scam every time. So what do you think, Bob?
On this issue, I don't know too much, but I do what you're saying. The workers get the short end of the stick all the time. Their union leaders, I think, lead them down the wrong way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Pamela?
My heart breaks for the workers because I always watch videos of them putting the cars together. They got to make sure each, nail, screw, and bolt is, together. If not, you can be driving down the street, your whole tire fall off. So, you need these workers, but we are living in a society now. They just think everybody is so replaceable. Like we'll go ahead and just get a machine and replace the man, and we won't have to pay them anymore. And that's sad because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to replace workers with robots, so they don't have to pay humans anymore. And they know these people need their money to live. and they don't care. They so greedy and selfish, and you already have millions and millions in your pockets. You already traveling and doing what you living life. So why can't you just have your workers have a comfortable life? Why make their life miserable? And I was listening to some of them. Some of them haven't had a raise for a minute, and then this week they even let some people go. So it's mean. It's mean what they're doing. And it can backfire because what if everybody stopped buying cars? It can backfire. So they have to be careful. You can't just keep on mistreating people and think it's okay. It's not okay. So they sitting back thinking, well, I don't have to worry about any of them. I don't care if it is on strike. I got my money. And that is so selfish. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, the billionaires keep making their money and they don't care about the rest of us. Angela?
All I'm saying is they need to give them people what they need. They know that the cost of living goes up, and every time the cost of living go up, then the money should go up. But it never happens. They always have us on the outside struggling, but they taking the price of everything up. They taking the price up and the size down. You go in where you could get a 20 ounce. Now you go in the store and get on 24 ounce. They had moved it down to a 20 ounce. Then they moved it to I don't know what that was they had. Then they had a 16.9, and then now I think it's a 12 ounce. But they get smaller and smaller, but the price is going up and up and up. But I would say they need to give these people what they need to get them back to work if they want them to work. Because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it's gonna come a point if they not working, then ain't no cars being made. Then what's gonna happen when people need cars?
Yeah.
In the long run, who is it hurting? In the long run, see, we don't look at that. But the people that got money, they already got money, so they don't care.
Exactly. Yeah, they can afford to wait it out, and that's pretty much their strategy when it comes to the strikers. We got all these billions of dollars, they got maybe $100 in the bank, so we wait them out. We can last longer than they can. That's the way it goes, unfortunately. Anything else on that? All right. Let's move to the next one. We're moving through them fast. It's kind of a scary story. What could go wrong when governments take control of food? Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, wants to heap more taxes on grocery stores to punish them for high prices. And Chicago's Mayor, Brandon Johnson, has proposed city-owned grocery stores. Historically, it's the beginning of the end for people when the governments begin to interfere with food pricing, production, and distribution. Let's look at some of the rules that were established in Venezuela that led to widespread hunger. The government took control of food production facilities. They began forcing farmers to produce food for less than the cost of growing or raising it. They rationed food to families. They even began to track people who were growing their own food in order. In short, every terrible decision it was possible to make, they made, and the people suffered for it. Every time the government gets involved in things that should be simple, like producing, selling, and buying food, this is another way that they can control people. It's happened time and time again throughout history that people are so desperate for solutions that they think it'll be different this time. Now that's the scary story, like for example, when the government took control of the facilities in Venezuela, they made the farmers sell their crops for less than what it costs to produce them. I mean, that's just crazy. And it goes back to what we've been saying, it's a big billionaires with all the money. They don't care about everybody else. They just care about making more money. So it's the same old with any situation, it seems, huh? What do you think, Bob?
Well, yeah, that article was pretty self-explanatory. I hope that we can head that off before it comes here, because it's knocking on our doorstep. That's for sure. It's up to the people to take control of their rights, and not let government will take more and more and more until the people will stand up and say, that's it, no more. And, hopefully, we'll be able to stop government from taking over food like everything else they're trying to do.
Yeah. Tamala?
It's sad that this is going on, how we watch these movies. I'm trying to think of that movie where um, oh, they didn't have any food and they had to go to this one place to get to it. Oh, I can't think of the name of the movie. Oh, they had part one, part two, part three. But anyway, it's like you watch these movies and it's like they trying to tell you what we're going to do in the future. So a lot of people right now they have their own little garden and they growing their own fruits and vegetables right now. And there are some places I was trying to find it where somebody said that they had to get permission to grow their own fruits and vegetables. I said, if we got to that point, I'm like, this is just ridiculous. And I'm looking at the different things, like when people travel, how, and I watch a lot of TikTok, and how this guy went to Aldi's and he said he couldn't even go shopping at Aldi's because you had to have facial recognition to get into the store. So all this craziness is going on all over the world. And I don't know why they think it's cute to starve people. Like, what kind of satisfaction do you get out of it?
Yeah.
To starve people? Why, leave the food alone. Um, and then you got your real food, you got your fake food. You somebody gave me some bell peppers. I love bell peppers. I can eat them plain. And I opened this bell pepper, and usually bell peppers have a whole bunch of seeds in it. I opened this bell pepper, it didn't have any seeds. I said, when did a bell pepper ever had no seeds? Like, I've always seen seeds. So you now they saying watch and look at the different numbers because certain stuff was grown in the ground, some of the stuff was grown in the lab. And I'm like, this is just too much trying to remember, which food is real, which food is fake. I'm like, this is just too much. But to just say, okay, we going to instead of paying $1 for your bell pepper, we're gonna charge you $5. Why? Why? When fruit and vegetables is so freely grown, and all we doing is wasting food, we throwing it away because we selfish. So it don't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Angela?
Well, I when I can tell you people buying up all of the land, and then you got certain people that have no background in farming, no background in agriculture, but they buying up all of the land. And then you got other countries owning a certain percentage of our land. And half of the people that live here don't even own land. But you got other countries that's owning our farmland and able to produce and grow crops and stuff that we got to eat. And then they telling us that you can produce a animal in a can. How can you produce a chicken in a can? You putting them in these tubes and you can produce these and a lot of the stuff I'm telling you, everybody better be careful what you're taking in because a lot of this stuff is it's not real. You go in a lot of these places, you better check your food and really examine your food because a lot of this food don't have seeds in it. And how is it growing if it ain't got no seeds? Everything come from a seed, right? We came from a seed. So how is these fruits and vegetables and stuff growing without seeds? And how is these animals not coming out of they mama, but they coming out of tubes and they coming out of silver cans and glue to put meat parts together and make a meat. Yeah. Next time you go and get you a steak, make sure that you look at it real good and see how it fall apart and how how it's cut and how it's put together. Because a lot of this stuff that we thinking we getting good deals on, it ain't doing nothing but killing us. And then you look at the ingredients on the back of chips and different things that's served here in America. And then you go to some other countries and you look on the back of theirs and you look at their ingredients are totally different. You talk to funeral directors and you listen to them talk about how it has changed over the years when they used to have to use a lot of embalming fluid to embalm bodies, but now they don't have to because of all of the processed food that we're eating and taking in is breaking our bodies down. They don't have to embalm us and process us like they used to back in the day because we doing it ourselves by what we taking in. But yeah, it's a sad day, but it's up to us as people to say what we gonna stand for and what we not, and what we gonna allow and what we ain't gonna allow, because we cut this stuff out. Grow your own stuff. Because I remember growing up when I was little, we used to farm everything. We everything we wanted. We can go out in one of our fields and get it. Corn, field peas, watermelon, cantaloupes, cucumbers, whatever. It was somewhere out there. Peppers. It was somewhere out there. And all we had to do was go out there and get it. And we used to go to the farmer's market and sell it at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
But we was able to get our own foods. We didn't go to the market, like to the grocery store a lot. I think the only thing we didn't even have to really go to the grocery store. We used to go to the corner store and get what they call hoop cheese. And here put that and cut the cheese out. We get a pound or two of cheese, and that's really all we got from the store. Because my grandma made bread. We didn't have to buy no bread. And we had our own. We had our own chickens, so we had our own eggs.
So you ate a lot
And that's what
healthier.
we're gonna have to get back to.
Yeah.
And we were people. Everybody in my family. You look at the people in my family; they have longevity. My great grandfather lived to be 99 years old. My great aunt lived to be 100. My great uncle, he passed away last year. He was 100 years old. My aunt right now, she 83 years old, and she get around better than we do. She be driving and doing everything that we be doing. So yeah, yes,
No,
they do.
you talk about animals.
We used
They're
to like the water even tastes different.
you know they're cloning animals
Even the
now.
water tastes different. Like we used to go to our well and just drop the little bucket down there and pull it up and drink water, and it just come out the refrigerator, and it just be just as cold as the water that's coming out the faucet.
Yeah.
We used to slide we had this little big old cement rock over it. And you slide the little cement rock over, drop your little pan there, and then it had a little thing that a little churn, whatever they used to call it. You can crank it, a cranker or whatever. You can crank it back up. But I used to just drop mine down there, and I used to just pull back up my hand. Just pull it up, just pull the rope and pull it up, and then I just take the little water thing, and I'll just pour it up like that and drink it. And it'd be so cold. We'd be out there running around playing. When we was little. We used to play in the cornfield. Man, them was the days.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to worry about inflation. We didn't have to worry about paying $2.88 for one can of green beans or wax beans or whatever it was. But I do got a question since we on food. Can anybody tell me why they have changed the way that they put food labels on the food? Say, for example, you know how they used to have pickles on the pickle jar? It used to say pickles. I don't say pickles. It say whatever kind of pickles. If it's a spare, it say spares. If it's a chip, it say chip. If it's kosher deal, it say kosher deal. Why did they stop naming it what it was?
Good question.
And they've done that for a lot of stuff. They've stopped using the name for certain stuff, and I just wonder why they stopped doing that.
It's
When y'all
probably
go
in
in the
the,
store, look at the different labels. You look at the different labels on the food. Like I see where they have green beans. It has say wax. It say wax beans and some other kind of beans and some other kind of beans. But then they all look like green beans to me, but they all just different names. But I don't know. I just threw that out there.
Kamala, do you got anything else on that?
Nope. Mm-mm.
All righty, let's see what's next. Okay, last but certainly not least, I'm sure y'all heard about this. Palestinian militants from Gaza launched an early morning assault on southern Israel. There's definitely been plenty of news about this, and it probably will be for a while. Israel battled on Saturday to repel one of the broadest invasions of its territory in 50 years, after Palestinian militants from Gaza launched an early morning assault on southern Israel, infiltrating 22 Israeli towns and army bases, kidnapping Israeli civilians and soldiers, and firing thousands of rockets towards cities as far away as Jerusalem. By early evening, the Israeli military said fighting continued in at least 5 places in southern Israel. Multiple Israelis had been abducted and taken to Gaza, including an elderly grandmother, and at least 250 Israelis had been reported dead by officials and more than 1,400 wounded. Israel retaliated with huge strikes on Gazan cities, and the Gaza Health Ministry said at least 234 Palestinians had been killed either in gun battles or airstrikes. Sunday morning in Israel and Gaza, nearly 24 hours after the first Hamas rocket attacks were fired, sirens warning of possible attacks kept many Israelis up all night. And the Israeli Air Force struck targets across Gaza, according to the military. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said overnight that the first phase of the war was over and that offensive formation would start. So this is the beginning, what's going to be going on after a few days or a few weeks or a few months? Is this going to be something that goes on and on like the Ukraine war with Russia? Yeah, are we going to end up spending billions and billions of dollars there? Uh, the United States have always sided with Israel. President Biden said today that we're going to stand with Israel no matter what happens, and I'm convinced that is true. So, what do you think? Is this going to turn out to be something really, really big? I mean, it's big already, but how big do you think it's going to get? What do you think, Bob?
I think it could get a lot worse. I hope it doesn't. It could spread to other countries. You know, everybody likes to criticize Trump, but I know that when he was in the White House, there wasn't one war like this. In fact, he made peace all over the Middle East. And this is what happens when there's no real leadership from America on these issues. Everybody just does whatever they want. And hopefully it'll be contained and over soon, and it won't spread to other countries. But I just pray for everyone involved.
So you think if Trump was still president, this wouldn't have happened?
No, I don't think it would have happened at all. He brought peace. I mean, people might not like his personality, but his character brought peace to the world. There wasn't one conflict like this when he was president.
Well, I hope it gets settled soon because it's already getting pretty nasty, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we definitely need to keep them all
There's
under.
always been something going on over there. It's always been something going on over there in the Middle East. Always. Every time you turn around, maybe it's not being in the news like always, but it's always something brewing over there. But do we always have to be involved? Is the question. Do we always have to be in control? Do we always have to have an input? Um, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know if it's going. I hope it don't get worse, but who knows?
Yeah.
But this ain't just started. This been going on because stuff just don't just start.
Yeah.
4 years. I think this man been how long Biden been in office? 4 years.
Since January
This is his
24,
first time, right?
almost 3 years.
Yeah. So, yeah. Stuff. This didn't just happen. You know, we can't say that just because Biden is in office, it ain't just happened in 4 years. This has been adding up. You can best believe that this stuff has been adding up for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
Just so happened he in office and it happens. But just like that, whoever take over, if it's not whoever takes over, they're not gonna be able to correct it overnight. It's gonna take time.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to understand. But see, so many of us, we want stuff to be popcorn. We want results immediately. When we not giving out the solutions immediately, we hold on to the solution. We hold on. We want to hold on to the end and see what's going to happen in between. We want to hold out as long as we can hold out.
Yeah.
As long as we okay. But see, when it start affecting us, then that's when we can't hold out no more. Then we want to start moving. And then when things don't start moving the way that they should move, then we got to start blaming everybody.
Yeah.
But those people over there got to take some responsibility for their actions too.
Yeah.
And then everybody around there, like the people that's close to there, like what is everybody around there doing? Like we all the way over here, or thousands of miles away. What are the people within 5 and within 1,000 miles? Like for real, I don't get it. What? I don't get it.
See, there's
But
gonna be other people get
hopefully it
involved.
will work itself
Yeah.
out. Hopefully the right people will get involved and it will be a solution. You know,
That would be good.
we
That
always
would,
want to fight. We don't want to always, because we don't want to listen to see what everybody idea is and how we can come to a resolution. Everybody
yeah,
feel like what they think is right, and it's only one right way. If you can bring 100 white races together, we might can figure some stuff out. We might can figure some stuff out. If everybody can learn to come together and put some of these differences that we have and really think about the people. Like really think about the people and how this stuff is affecting the people all over.
yeah,
But again, everything boils down to money and power. If you ain't got no money and you ain't got no voice, you ain't got no power, then you missing out on a lot.
yeah. Pamela,
So yeah,
before you,
that's all I gotta say.
okay,
Throughout the first 5 or 6 chapters of the Bible, God told Moses that take the people to the promised land, but he couldn't see it. So when they got there, he told the people, take over the land. And what they did, they became friends with the enemy. And it specifically said, take over Gaza. And because they disobey God, they've been fighting Gaza for years. And so last year, when they had this guy walking around, and that's his name right there, it was a big thing. Oh my goodness, he's the Messiah. Oh my God, he could just walk past and we are healed. Oh my God. And they was praising this man. They was praising him. And I was like, have they lost their mind? Like what is, and so I'm shocked that God waited a whole year. you know, I'm just shocked because this year, early this year, when Brazil had a parade where the guy was dressed like the devil and he was dragging Jesus down the street and he was beating Jesus, they called themselves mocking God. The very next day was a flood. God is merciful, but you can't keep on playing with God. And Israel had this man walking around for a whole year, and people they actually bowed down to him, and they was calling him Messiah. Hey, Messiah! Oh, the Messiah coming! Woo! I mean, they running to this man, praising him, kissing his hand. He did not say, "No, I'm not the Messiah." He just accepted it. Oh, he just so excited. All these people praising me, and God said, "I am a jealous God. I will not give my glory to no other." So here it is when this happened, and I saw it on the news. I said, and I'm shaking my head because they always go in captivity when they open up the door to sin. And that's what they did. They opened the door to sin. And I don't know what's going to happen. I just know I got some friends over there. I can't reach them. I don't know if their phone lines is down. All I can do is pray. That's all I can do because when I saw it, I said, "Oh my goodness, this is crazy. It's just crazy." But like everybody said, I hope it don't grow. I hope it don't grow because we already got too many enemies. We got people that we're not really paying attention to that already said they want to come after the United States. And they already said they getting their military ready to come against us. And here we is trying to save the world. We can't save everybody. We just
exactly.
can't. So, this is a hot mess, but
Yeah,
I pray and hope that they will repent and get it right because the United States is already spread thin. We already spread thin, and the government is fighting each other. and no telling what's going to happen to them because all they do is argue and fuss and fight right now. So it's just a mess.
Do you think it's part of prophecy? Do you think this all comes down to Bible prophecy?
Yes, always.
Yeah. Well, it sure seems like the end times then, doesn't it? It definitely does.
It does, yeah.
So what's that thing we like to say? Come quickly, Lord Jesus, come quickly. Can't happen quickly enough for me. All righty. Well, we've covered all our topics for this evening. Bob, would you like to go first to get your plug in, brother?
Sure. Flickerinthewater.com, a book about the ocean and what the oceans mean to mankind. There's some interesting fish stories in there. And we can set sail on the hopefully not so stormy seas.
All right. Angela?
Again, I thank you for having me. I am Angela Thomas Smith, affectionately known as the Queen of Collaborations. I'm a woman of many hats. I say you can follow me, check me out, see some of the things that I do. I'm an honor. I just believe in being the change that I desire to see in this world. So I try to lead by example, and I do that through what I call the L3 movement, which is learn, love, lead. Have to understand that we're always students. We never get to a point that we know everything. So be willing to learn. Move in love, and you will be the best leader that God has placed on the inside of you. He will stir up that gift. So you can follow me, check me out on Linktree, Queen of Collaborations. Go over, check me out on Amazon. I have 69 books, planners, journals up. You can I'm sure there's something over there that you would like to pick up and read. Most of them are inspirationals, but I truly believe in collaborating and giving others an opportunity to allow their voices to speak. So again, thank you for this opportunity to be a part of the panel.
Glad you are here. Glad you are here. Emily?
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. My ministry is Come Home, Stop Talking About It. And I'm just so excited to be here. I'm glad that I'm able to help people whenever I can, when I can. And also, I'm an author. I have books for adults and for children and for the church. Also, I am a gospel singer and gospel songwriter. I have different songs that have already written, they already copyrighted, and one single is out. And I'm just excited for what God is doing for my life and for everybody's life. So I'm just excited about life. And I always tell people, remember, life is an adventure, so learn how to enjoy it.
All right. Thank you all. And please check my other podcast out on Friday evenings. It's called Friday Night Conversations. It's at youtube.com/at Friday Night Conversations. And we're here on the night crew every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So thank you, panel, once again for being here. So glad to have you here. And thank you, everyone who has joined in the chat and who's watching on Facebook and YouTube, and hope to see you again soon. So here's wishing everybody a good night. Have a good week. Stay blessed. Stay safe. Take care of yourself and take care of one another. Good night.
Oh, good night. Thanks. God bless.
Good night.